What is up, my friend? Welcome to episode 141 of the Anthony John Amos podcast. This is another Sunday sermon edition. Kind of. It's definitely a Sunday sermon edition, but we're not going to dive into the scripture. And today I want to talk about the dangers of either or thinking. So if you're struggling to gain some momentum in your life or your business, or maybe you're at like this crossroads, wondering like, man, which direction is the best path to actually move forward with? Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Anthony John Amos podcast, the one and only podcast designed to help you become unstoppable in life and business. My name is Anthony John Amos. My friends call me AJ, and my goal with this podcast is to help you remember who you truly are so you can maintain your center in the chaos, embody your potential, and unlock freedom in your life and business. That being said, let's get into today's show.
All right, welcome back. Now, before I dive into today's topic, if you want to generate more revenue while converting your internal pressure into fuel for your potential so you can live out your big vision, have fun, and do more of what you love, I have a little something for you. Every single week, I set aside a few hours to talk with online entrepreneurs about what's working, what's not working, and help them create a plan to create their visions faster. If you want to grab one of those times to talk with me directly, go to talkwithaj.com. It's 100% free. I normally charge like $1,000 for a strategy session. But since you're listening to this podcast, I will hook you up with an opportunity to talk with me. And I'm going to warn you, like, please don't book the call if you're not serious about creating results. Like on that call, we're going to deep dive together. We're going to find like, man, what's really preventing you from having the results you want in your life right now. And if I can help you like really get those results faster, we'll talk about doing that. If I can't, I'll point you to a resource that will help you really hit the ground running fast. So if you're an online entrepreneur, you're driven, you're hungry, and you're ready to create the next level results for yourself, go to talkwithaj.com, grab a time to talk with me. And we'll just have like a really good chat, a good strategy session, help you gain some like momentum. That being said, let's dive into today's show. The dangers of either or thinking. Well, just this past week, I had two of my business partners fly into Dallas. I just partnered with one of our clients to really create the premier business coaching resource for entrepreneurs who advance the world forward. And it's something I've been doing for more than a decade now, and partnering with my client, Ben Slater of Systems for Business. It's created this like opportunity to create a system that will support a lot of online business clients even more powerfully. And I'm just super excited about it. And for a while now, I've really felt called to support entrepreneurs in both life and business. And for about 12 months, I've personally felt like I'm just walking through like this boggy marsh, it seems like right now. Now, if you don't know what a bog is, it's basically a wetland. And the best picture that I can depict it with, like how I currently feel essentially, is maybe it's like a bog in, I don't know, like Scotland, right? You know, like the bogs that you may have seen on television, or maybe you've been there, and they're like those kind of marshy wetlands that are covered in peat moss, but below the peat moss, it's just like mucky and muddy and just dingy and swampy. And so like when you try to like walk across it, you just kind of sink into the mud, and you can walk across the bog, but it really just takes some grit and determination just to keep picking up your feet and just moving forward just from the muck. That's just like, you know, you're just like drudging through it, right? It's kind of how I felt like maybe the past 12 months. It's kind of felt like that for me personally inside this game of business. And maybe you can relate with this. You see, like I know I'm called to create two visions right now. Number one, the premier personal development company for entrepreneurs. And number two, the premier business coaching resource for entrepreneurs who advance the world forward. And I'm really clear on number two. Like we have massive momentum in that business, no boggy feeling there at all. It's like we're on the freeway, just driving as fast as we can. The business is scaling. It's exciting. It's fun. But then with number one, like, man, people looking in from the outside, they're probably like, you know, projecting like, yo, you're cruising on the highway. And there's some truth to that. And internally, I also feel like, man, I'm just moving forward through this bog. Now, look, this is natural. Like this is part of the journey of being an entrepreneur. I mean, some days, some seasons, it's going to feel like you're trampling through a bog, just doing everything that you can to put one foot in front of the other. And other days and seasons, it's going to feel like you're just cruising through the pasture, like just riding a side by side, just having a blast. I'm from, Texas, grew up in pastures, riding four wheelers and side by sides. Just like I can see the difference, right, between the bog where you're like hard to gain traction and momentum, or you're just like drudging along, and then the pasture where the ground is like hard and you're just like riding through, having a good time, right? The thing is, it's like the journey, and the journey is the journey is the journey. There's no right, there's no wrong, no should, no sit. It's just the journey, the bog, the pasture, the highway. Like it's just a journey, and there's no way around it. And it's part of what makes this whole thing called life exciting and adventurous. So one of the days this past week, Jonathan Heston and I, Jonathan's a good friend of mine, a business partner of mine, we were talking about how like the personal development side of things or the personal development business, and how we both really felt, and how we both felt like we're kind of in this bog, and how we both had a desire to find a way to get our feet planted on solid ground for a season. And as he and I were talking, we kind of landed on a big distinction for the two of us. And we were able to put some language around this feeling. And it's one that I think really may serve you. See, he and I both, we've worked with a lot of coaches over the years. And all of the coaches, they've served us in incredible ways. And it kind of seems like there are kind of two paths, it seems like, when it comes to creating life and business. And one path is to just follow your bliss and trust the universe, and like everything's going to work out. Like God has your back. The universe has your back. Like just follow your bliss, right? And the second path is just kind of like be a professional, to show up, do the work every single day, whether you want to or not. It doesn't matter. Just be a professional and do the work. And look, I see the value in both of these paths. I see the wisdom in both of these paths. And it seems like for a lot of people, they think they have to choose between either the bliss and the universe has your back, or be a professional and do the work. It's like one of those two. And for me, when I have been down the follow your bliss and blindly trust the universe to have your back, like for me, there seems to be a lot of chaos, what I would judge and project as chaos on that path. Like the people that I personally know who walk out that path beautifully, they're happy. And I project on them and I judge them for not being on time sometimes. Like I judge them for not having more structure. There's little like, go with the flow, man. And as I personally have tried on that path, for me, it just creates too much chaos. Like just for me specifically, having a wife, having a child. I mean, I have my daughter. She has to be at school at a certain time. There's holidays to make plans for, like just with the school, there's just a lot of moving pieces that have to be managed and maintained. So for me, just like the go with the flow, it just doesn't bring me a lot of personal happiness and satisfaction and fulfillment. Nothing wrong with it, just being real, raw. And then with the other path of just be a professional and do the work, there's a big part of me and that's where I really feel like I'm like stuck in the bog, because it's like, man, there's a part of me that does the work, period. Because I know, and I show up as a professional, 2 podcast episodes a week, boom, done. Daily Facebook posts, boom, done. Weekly emails to my list, boom, done. Leads generated every day, done. Sales calls every single week, done. So it seems like for many, it's a matter of choosing between either this path or that path. And what I'm personally fighting for right now is both. Like I'm wrestling with the question, like how in the world do I create a way of life and a system for creating a life and business you enjoy with both paths? Like following your bliss and trusting the universe to support you while still showing up and doing the work every single day. And I found many people, they really find out that they're not really fulfilled in either their life or their business because they think they have to choose between either this path or that path. And I'm not just talking about like the universe has your back or professional. I'm just talking about many people in general aren't genuinely fulfilled because when faced with a choice, they really believe, well, it's either this path or that path. So let me give you an example. I was talking with a woman the other day. She owns and runs an online business that helps experts write books. She's currently making, $20,000 to $30,000 a month. She has for a while. And I asked her like, hey, what's your 10-year vision? And what she was thinking about going in a completely different direction with her business because she wanted to be free. She wanted to be free to have more time with her son. And she was sitting in this place of like, I can either grow my business to $100,000 plus per month, or I can spend more time with my son. Like she was looking at growing her business from this either or way of thinking. And my invitation to her was like, well, how could you do both? Like, how could you grow your business to sustainable $100,000 months while also spending the amount of time you desire with your son? And I told her many people don't think using this and also paradigm because they don't really want to lean into the level of responsibility required to create the and also possibility. You see, for her, if she chose the and also paradigm, it would require her to dream bigger, to become a better leader, to build a slightly bigger team and have a new way of being and doing to then lead that team and commit to spending whatever amount of time and doing what she wants to do with her son, right? And I want you to understand the game doesn't have to be either or unless you choose to operate from that paradigm. You see, I know for me personally, growing up, I was faced with a lot of either or ways of thinking about the world. Like you either make straight A's, so you play soccer, or you don't. You either get your chores done, so you get an allowance, or you don't. You either cut your hair, so you're in dress code at school, or you can't come to school. Like these are like either or problems that I personally experience. And maybe you can relate to some of these types of things, or maybe it's something similar for you. There's like lots of either or scenarios for most people. Well, see, the other option is to choose to get curious, to step into a state of wonderment and see how could you create the and also. Like just because you were taught and conditioned to believe life was an either or game, I'm inviting you into what may be possible if you gave yourself permission to be responsible for the and also game. Like just like with the woman, right? Like how could she scale her business and spend more time with her son? Now, I don't know what obstacles you're facing right now, but my encouragement to you is to use the and also approach. I've just found that there's a lot more peace and a lot more freedom found in creating from the and also paradigm. And one for me recently was like, how could I go to my daughter's school picnic and take an important call for 30 minutes? Like I have a coach, I have a call with a potential coach who's, my intention is to get me out of the bog, right? Like I am willing to admit the truth, connect to the truth, surrender to experience, and create outcomes. Like everything that I teach and preach on this podcast, I do my best to fully embody, right? Another one was like, how can I scale the business to sustainable 100K months and take a week off with the family in Mexico? See, the thing is every single time I let myself choose to solve obstacles from the and also paradigm, I have found a way to make both outcomes a reality when I'm willing to take responsibility for creating both outcomes as a reality. Remember, the only limiter of your life is you. And if you'll take radical responsibility for all of your results, that is the birthplace of life becoming really, really good, if not great. And look, I get many people have experienced some crazy stuff in life, right? And the thing is you don't have to know why. Like what happened. And I don't mean that in a like suck it up buttercup kind of way. I'm all about nurturing and loving on the parts of you that don't feel loved. And at some point, if you want to create an incredible life and business, you have to move forward. Now, I say this because I talk with a lot of people who get stuck on why, like why this, why that, why did that happen? And the answer to the question only leads to more reasons, which will only put you at the effect of life all of the time. I'm inviting you to be cause, to heal what requires to be healed, right? And to create what you desire to create. So my invitation to you this day is this. Where in your life, where in your business are you thinking it can only be either this or that? And what may be possible for you to create if you give yourself permission to think about and take action on how could you create both outcomes? Like what may be possible for you to create an experience by adopting an and also paradigm for overcoming obstacles. Well, that's all I have for this episode of the Anthony John Mix podcast. I hope it served you. I hope it's giving you some wisdom for creating the next level of awesome in your life. If you know someone who needs to hear this episode, send it over to them or their DMs, screenshot it, share it on social media, send them an email, text message, whatever you have to do to get this episode into their ear holes. And also, please keep those 5-star reviews coming over on iTunes, because that is what helps get this show found and serve more people. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, my friend, I'm out. Peace.
Well, that's all I've got for this episode of the Anthony John Amix podcast, but we have plenty more to help you become unstoppable in life and business. So head on over to ajamix.com for exclusive resources, information, and tools to help you break through to a new level of freedom, purpose, and success. I look forward to having you back for the next episode. Bye for now.